Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Phyllis Diller, remember her? Phyllis Diller, comedian. She said this about the game of golf. The reason the golf pro tells you to keep your head down is so you can't see him laughing. That's true. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Wednesday, May 30th. Good morning. And a good morning to you, Zeb at the Ranch on this Wednesday already. My goodness sakes, good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, and of course with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, saying if you're going on a road trip, they've got all the tires for your safe driving. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Benefit Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Always helping you to get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jerry, thank you so much. God bless you. Have a great day. And right... What's that, Jerry?
Comment?
Real quick.
Okay, I went to a Phyllis Diller show in Jackpot years ago, and I think I lasted 30 seconds. She had to be the filthy-mouthed woman I ever heard in my life. I didn't think she knew how to say one word that wasn't swearing.
Well, thank you for ruining my opening. I appreciate that. You have a good day, Jerry. Thank you. I hope all goes better for you. Thank you very much. Right now, let's go to the weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by K&R Rental, and they're located at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. Don't forget, we've had a lot of rain, and with the rain comes the sun and the weeds and everything else. Don't forget, they've got the rototillers and the lawnmowers, everything, so you be sure and check it out at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Number to call, 678-3122. Right now, here's the weather.
Going to be decent for this morning, but as we make our way to the afternoon, not so much. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are looking at partly sunny skies for today, but as we move into the afternoon hours, we are expecting some storms that could be severe with large hail, damaging winds, and rain as well. Expecting a high of 78 tonight. Those storms could continue mostly before midnight, expecting a low of 52. For tomorrow, we do have a 60% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon hours, and partly sunny skies with a high of 72. Overnight low of 46, and then by Friday, 20% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies with a high of 70. Sunny and 80 for Saturday. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. Contact them for all the information you need about available tools and equipment ready to help you at K&R Rental. Number to call, 678-3122. Oh, we got a lot of things cooking today. And we've got Dave Bigo coming on the program. We've had a change in the scheduling a little bit. Frosty Woldridge is going to come back on this morning after his 4-part series that we ran last week. And Dan Perkins is going to be on talking about the absolutely ridiculous high gas prices. And then at 10:30 this morning, George Mass and J.R. Strunk are going to be here talking about the Idaho roll call. And that's going to be coming up at 10:30. So we've got a lot of things cooking, and right now I also want to remind you about our friends at Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Got something dirty, wrinkled, and needs absolutely some pressing and cleaning? They're the best. Absolutely. I've taken our clothes in there for years and years, and they do the job. When you go in there to pick them up, they look like they just came right off the showroom rack. You stop in and check it out today. Daryl's Cleaners, Kevin and Cindy and the crew at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley, waiting to serve you. I want to urge you to remember that this weekend is the Minnecasia Auto Collectors 32nd Annual Classics on the Grass, and it's going to be Saturday and Sunday, and it's at the Cassia County Fairgrounds. Now, I'm going to give away a ticket right this minute to that event. And the first person that calls in and gives me the proper answer, we will have a ticket over at the radio station tomorrow for you to pick up, and then you can get in free to Classics on the Grass. And here's the question. This is an easy one this morning. Run to the phone and get ready to call. What color? What was the basic color of the TV show, The Dukes of Hazzard, General Lee? What color was that car? Call me right now at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What was the color of the General Lee, that great big Dodge Charger they used in the television show, The Dukes of Hazzard? Quickly call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What was the overall basic color of the General Lee? Give me a call. Come on, quickly, get on the phone and give us a jingle. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they do have all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. That's not brag. That's a fact. I mean, absolutely. We're coming into, of course, air conditioning season, so check out all the filters at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
It was hot pumpkin orange.
And who is this calling?
It's Wilbur. Wilbur Worthen.
Well, hello, Wilbur. Doggone it, I know who this is. You get over there to the radio station tomorrow, pick up your ticket because it was orange. Thank you very much, Earl. God bless you, man. Appreciate it.
You made a simple one out of that one.
Well, I wanted to keep it so we could get it taken care of quickly, and I appreciate the call. Earl, you're the winner. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, sir. Yep, it was really bright orange with the Confederate flag painted on the roof, as a matter of fact. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk about the Roseanne TV cancellation right after this, and I want to get your opinion. Now, what she said is wrong in today's world and with political correctness, but there's a caveat there. But is what she said any more or less vile or not politically acceptable than what has been said by numerous Democrats and numerous so-called late-night comedians? We're going to have that in just a moment. Caller, stand by. I'll be right there. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley, the home of America's Diner. Oh, my goodness. Thomas and the crew serving you. And when I say serving, I really mean that. We've had our lunch bunch there for I don't know how many years, and they really take care of you with the best of menu choices and super service for you, your family, and your friends. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. It's true. Denny's Restaurant is America's Diner. Caller, good morning. Thank you for being on the program. Talk to me, caller. Wheels, what's going on over there?
I'm not sure. Keith is supposed to be there, but let me go ahead and check.
All right, hurry up and get him on the air. Let's go. And I don't know what the problem is, but evidently we had a little phone problem with echoes and everything. I don't like that. Is he ready to go? Okay, we'll just continue on then. I want to remind you, too, that later on this morning, Dan Perkins, as I said, is going to be talking about high gas prices in this country and the why. Right now, I also want to remind you about our friends over at Pomerelle Place, 1301 Bennett Avenue in Burley. My goodness sakes, I almost said the wrong town. I don't know why I said that. 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. And, of course, they're waiting to serve you and all seniors. I'll tell you what, mark June 6th on your calendar from 3 to 5 p.m. at Pomerelle Place and meet the new administrator. And don't forget they're going to also have a special Father's Day celebration on June 16th. And also, this is a great place to check out if you're a senior. Don't live at home alone and face all the safety hazards and the injuries and poor nutrition and missed medication. Senior living at Pomerelle Place offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Check it out. Call them, 677-8212. Did you get that fixed on the air or not over there, Wheels?
I didn't. He must have just called in and didn't realize that he had called in.
All right. Well, evidently, let's take the next call if that's coming in for me. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Please talk to me. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. Now, I do have a take on that Roseanne Barr thing. When they have been squabbling and screaming and crying and everything about what she said, and what she said, you're right. She was wrong for saying that. She was very wrong. But with the way those idiots, a lot of the Democrats, the lefties, the way they all think, it's perfectly okay for them to say something about anybody else, regardless of how vile and bad it sounds, which they're on a par with Roseanne. They're sometimes worse.
Well, what you just said...
It's perfectly okay for them to say something.
Yeah.
Before the minute somebody from up towards the right side come along and say something about somebody out of their bunch, oh, man, there's hell to pay.
Well, let's just back up a couple of weeks, if you will, and remember the press dinner in New York and the burning, not the roasting, but the burning of Sarah Huckabee Sanders by that so-called not funny comedian, Michelle Wolf. I mean, tearing into her and absolutely an embarrassment to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, but there was no apology for that. There was no, oh, we shouldn't have done that, nothing. The left has a double standard in this country. The Democrats and the liberals have a double standard against conservatives. I'm not advocating at all what Roseanne Barr said was correct. Not at all. And for the liberals out there, don't misconstrue my thoughts. But I am saying there's a double standard, and it's about time both sides of the fence cleaned it up.
Yeah, totally. But that's really about all I had to say.
Well, I appreciate your call, my friend. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
You too.
All right, thank you. What do you folks think about that? I mean, oh my, the left and Holly Weird and the rest of them just absolutely jumping on the bandwagon, and all the Twitters and all the emails and all these statements by Hollywood. Oh, Minnie Driver, as a matter of fact. I'm so proud of ABC Network for having the ethical compunction to cancel Roseanne despite the show's huge numbers. We, too, make a show about a middle-class family. Come and watch us instead of Roseanne. You know, I mean, everybody tries to jump up on their pious silver steed and say how great they are and how much better they are at the demise of Roseanne Barr and her television show. I honestly think that those remarks, Jimmy Kimmel, come on, you know Jimmy Kimmel, and you know this Michelle Wolf, and John Kerry, for heaven's sakes, and Saturday Night Live, and everybody else, just absolutely roasting and blasting conservatism, Donald Trump, everybody else, in far worse verbiage than what was said in this so-called joke by Roseanne Barr. They get off the hook. There is a double standard, and I don't give a rip if you like it or not. The double standard favors, of course, the liberals and the Democrats. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget our friends at Dino's Septic Service. Holy moly, they do the job that you don't want to do. You don't want to be out there pumping that septic tank. You don't want to be out there trying to get rid of that liquid waste removal. No, they take care of the job for you. Fast, fair, friendly service, and they've got 2 telephone numbers for you to give them a call, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. I mean, fast, fair, friendly service, Dino's Septic Service in Rupert. Always with that big truck. Smells cargo on the way to serve you. Call them today. Excellent folks. Dino's Septic Service. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
You know, that what you're talking about here about Roseanne, I think you covered about everything that I would have said. But this Michelle Wolf, oh my goodness, and I mean, for people to praise her, you know, that's the disgusting thing about it, and they know it is wrong.
There is no excuse for bad manners, bad taste, and bad statements. And I'm not covering up for anybody. I dare say, Keith, that you've said things in your life that maybe were the repeat of a joke that offended somebody, maybe the repeat of a statement that offended somebody. You're not perfect, and neither am I, because I've done it and I've had to apologize. But the left is just sitting there like a vulture in a tree, and they're waiting to pounce on anything that looks like it's going to die. And in this case, the Democrats and the liberals pounced on Roseanne.
Yeah, and I've never really been a fan of hers ever since the San Diego incident when she grabbed her crotch, you know, and acted really, really ignorant. But she is an American. She believes in our values, but she is pretty darn crude.
Well, there's no question about it. She's a crude woman, and I agree with everything you said. But the caveat is it's okay for the left to denigrate and discard and throw away the conservatives or Christians, but the reverse is never happening. We're living in a society that's being overwhelmed by pathetic liberal thought.
Goes back to that old adage, don't do what I do what I say.
Yeah.
And that's the motto of the Democratic Party.
I agree.
And the way they just, you know, the news media has just blown this thing up. It's just like that yesterday when we were talking about those kids in a cage, and come to find out it was Obama. You know, they jumped the gun at anything and hope that it works out.
Well, and let's be more definitive on your statement that it was Obama. No, it was during the Obama administration. We must define exactly what the verbiage is.
Well, that's true, and that's what it was. It was from 2014.
That's right.
Well, he was supposedly in charge. I don't know what he was in charge of. Do you?
Well, he's supposedly in charge. He was supposedly the president. And I still maintain, and I got into a good argument about this the other day, I still maintain that if history has a chance to be fair, and it's not jaded by the liberal thought and slant, I still maintain that history will prove that Obama was one of the most worst presidents for our value system in the United States. Keith, I've got another call calling in. Come in. Call me again at a later time. Thank
Jimmy
you.
Carter like a choir boy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you very much. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Stay right there. I'll be right on the phone with you after I tell everybody about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation with Nick Greenwell and his excellent physical therapy staff. They are and they continue to be the best, absolutely, at what they do, helping you after a surgery, after an accident, all your aches and pains. They've got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in the area. Oh, and along with all the exercises, they can help you get back to being you. Absolutely call them, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Look out, Wheels, they're backing up. Okay. Calls welcome. You got to have a little patience with me, as I only took 30 seconds. And call back, for heaven's sakes, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There is a note that should be said here on the cancellation of the Roseanne television show. It's not just her that was, let's say, hurt by the cancellation. It's all the staff members, not only the supporting cast, but also the people that run the sound, the people that run the lights, the people that take care of all the scripting, and the people that do all the work behind the scenes. All of them, very unfortunately, overnight were cast to unemployment. And those are the people I feel sorry for the most in this very negative approach to what happened to the TV show. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bell. You know, there's crap going on with Roseanne Barr and all these other comics. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know, that famous old saying. Nobody said nothing when that woman tore into Sarah, which was disgusting. What Roseanne said was just as disgusting. But we didn't hear anything about the comic, or the so-called comic that tore into Sarah.
Well, wait a minute. Donna, did you hear anything, and Wheels, ride the gain on that feedback, please. Did you hear anything about the New York Times columnist? His name was Charles Blau, and he called Trump a racist and a white supremacist. Now, those are pretty harsh words to be calling the President of the United States. Oh, gee. And then he also called the man, Donald Trump, a weasel. Now, where is the line of separation there, Donna?
There isn't any. That's the whole point. You know, the liberals can say what the heck they want, but let somebody on our side, and you know, both parties are just as bad, but it seems like the liberals are taking it a step farther. We've got a double justice system.
We have a double justice system. We have a double standard in this country. Unfortunately, look at John Kerry. Let me go back over to John Kerry. It's not so much the verbiage that was so negative. It's the attitude and the actions. He, John Kerry, former Secretary of State with the Obama administration, has been overseas trying to disrupt and tear apart the policies of this United States. Anywhere else in our history, that would be called being a traitor.
Well, he's always been a traitor. Go back to the Vietnam era.
That's right.
He and Jane Fonda should have been tried and hung for what they did in Vietnam. I don't know how he ever got into office in the first place, but yes, we do have a moral problem in this country, and it's time that we, the people, stand up and say, you know what, this is bull. Knock it off.
Okay, but wait a minute.
Vote him out.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We have a problem in this country. I used your words right back at you. Why aren't we solving it? You know as well as I do, over in your community and in my community, and for that matter, any community, there is so much being done and said against America, and the rest of us, the majority, and we still are the majority, sit back and do nothing. How are we going to change it?
You know what? I don't know, Zeb. You know, we can talk on the radio. We can talk, you know, when we visit. But I don't know how to fix it. I just know that the only, my opinion is the only way we can fix some of this is vote these puke heads out of office.
Well, I agree with that.
No matter where they're at.
I agree with you, Donna, but I'm telling you, I went through the gamut with these people when Obama was running for election back in 2007. I know firsthand how vile and evil the left is, the liberals, the Democrats, especially the Democratic Party right here in this area. They are very sinister and very evil. And I'm just going to put this out. I can't imagine anybody with a right mind for our Constitution and the values of our country ever voting Democratic.
Well, I'm right there with you, and I'm hoping that these new investigations, which I'm not fond of, but you know what, they're finding out more and more about the illegal activities of the Clintons, the Obamas, the Kerrys, and such. Let's do something about it. Prosecute them. Don't just slap them on the wrist and turn them loose. Prosecute them and put them where they belong.
Amen. And I really appreciate your call this morning. And I know George is still sleeping. I know you had to step out on the porch because we don't want to wake him up. But have a great day.
You also, my friend. Actually, I believe he's on his way to your house.
Oh, my goodness. Well, he's going to be sitting in the living room alone because Deanne's not going to be here. Just tell him to walk on in. Thank you.
I know. All right, dear. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you much. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, don't forget on Mondays, and we didn't do it this Monday because of Memorial Day, Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert, right on the square with delicious, delicious food in their restaurant and absolutely phenomenal food in their bakery, all the cookies and the pies and the wedding cakes, and oh my goodness, we give away a dozen cookies every Monday to Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Really, really good. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. If I do a story on this program that is not verified and it slams or twists someone or some group, I should stand the heat. And I should make the apology, and I should stand the repercussions that might happen. That's why I verify everything, and I don't like speculation, don't even allow it on my program. We're only going to deal with facts. And the facts are, there is a severe double standard in this country. There is an attack on values, family values, Christian values in this country. And there is an absolute commitment by the liberal left to denigrate and throw away anybody, myself included, that wants to stand up for conservative values. That is happening in this United States, and it's getting worse every single day. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts, I believe that we're going to have Juan on the air tomorrow in our business salute for Barry Equipment and Rental, and they're located at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And then Eli and the crew at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and also the Nampa location. And bye, Deanne, take care. And don't forget, too, they've got all the equipment rentals and retail equipment sales, everything for you. And I mentioned those Walker lawnmowers. Ooh, you can mow up a storm. You'll probably finish your yard and go over to your neighbors and finish that one, go to somebody else's. You don't want to quit. They're excellent. Stop in and check them out today at Barry Equipment and Rental in Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. The Mueller investigation, this kind of dovetails into what we're talking about. But I really would appreciate it if some of you folks would give us a call right now. And I'm really concerned. I heard a commentator say this morning at about 4:30, and I think he's 100% right, that the Mueller investigation is like trying to get out of quicksand. Slow and not moving anywhere. And I think it's on purpose. I honestly am of the opinion, and I'm trying to be open-minded, but it's hard in these times. I believe the Democrats and the liberal left have got this thing so jaded, and they realize they don't want any finalization of the Mueller investigation before the midterms. No! They want to keep that on the front burner. They want as much of a shading of negativity against Trump, this administration, and or anyone that is of his values to try to jade the vote on this coming November. Midterms. I don't think we're going to see the end of the Mueller investigation for a long time. I think we're going to see an elongation of this. I think we're going to see pettiness. I think we're going to see a lot of prevalent non-important facts thrown up in front of the media, and then the liberal media in this country is going to devour them, and just, why, it's going to be like a carnage. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. I'm talking to you. Go. Wheels, turn them up.
I apologize, sir. They hung up.
Well, I didn't hear anybody hang up. Calls back, 436. Evidently, we've had this happen in the past where some people think it's kind of fun. Kids get out of school and they want to call and then they hang up and they think that's really cool, I guess. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Are you there? I'm only going to give you one shot. Go ahead.
Okay, that's all I need.
You can't blame me for being a little short when I say good morning to somebody and I get nothing but beep, 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 beep.
Well, they're backing up.
Look out.
Yeah, this Mueller investigation, the Democrats are going to ride this horse until it falls over.
Oh, there's no question about it.
Yes. Yeah, they're going to do that. They're going to try to keep the shadow over Trump. They do not want to solve problems in this country, and I can see that, and it's coming more apparent every day. Trump offered them way more than what I would have on the DACA deal for the wall and everything else, and they run.
Well, I'm going to say this, and you may not agree, but that's part of talk radio anyway. I don't want to even think about this administration doing anything for DACA. Is that plain and blunt enough?
Well, DACA's an illegal deal anyway. It was an executive order. It has not been run through Congress.
That's right.
So Trump can end DACA, and nobody can say a doggone word about it.
Did you ever ask yourself, and I know you have, because, Doug, you do a lot of thinking and soul-searching, and I know that every day at about 10 o'clock at your office, you get down on the floor on your little mat, and you go, and you think about things. But did you ever ask yourself why the Democratic Party right now today is so bent on open borders and lawbreakers, and they offer their support to those groups? I know the answer, you know the answer, but why doesn't the American public know the answer?
Most of the American public does. The mainstream media keeps beating the drum to keep the low-informed voters uninformed. Most informed voters knows why they want open borders, why they want to let criminals vote, because they are losing their base. You take what they're predicting now for President Trump on this quarter of 4.1 GDP.
Yeah.
I mean, who in the heck is going to vote against that come November?
Oh, well, there's the opening of the door right there for a great discussion. You know as well as I do that the effort of hate is very powerful. And the left has organized themselves into nothing more than a commitment to hating this administration. And the reason they hate Donald Trump and what's being successful is, oh my goodness, he's proving what we didn't do when we had the opportunity with Obama for 8 years. And they're so embarrassed, and they are so reclusive as to anything that would be successful for America. All they have is hate, Dougie.
Well, yes, hate and misinformation. The Republicans, or the rhinos back there, the ones that have been there for years, are just as guilty as the Democrats, because they do not want an outsider to come in and fix the problems
That's right.
they've been saying they've been working on for 30 years.
Absolutely right. This is an embarrassment to the Democrats and the liberals in general. This is an embarrassment because unemployment is so low. The economy is growing. We've got better attitudes towards our national security. And it's an embarrassment to them because they couldn't do it and they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it. That's the deal right there. They could have done it a long time ago.
Amen.
But they won't do it because they like the power, they like the money. They think they're back there to govern us, but what they need to realize, they're back there working for us.
They'd be a first if they tried. Thank you so much. Hey, give us your 15-minute 15-second spiel.
15 minutes. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
No, everybody, let's do what we can for our seniors. Let's support them, rent their facilities for parties and get-togethers. Donate if you can, and just help take care of them because they built this country we enjoy.
Amen, Doug. Hey, God bless you, man. Thanks so much. All right. Caller, I'll be right there. Do not hang up. Please, I'll be right there. Scott Gano, Landscaping and Tree Trimming. I tell you what, this guy and his crew, they are good. At 336 South, 450 west of Hayburn. Number to call, Scott on his cell phone, 431-8733. With all the wind and the tree and the shrub damage, they can help. And, by the time you give them a call, it's also the right time to get your fruit trees trimmed now. You give them a call. Good people. 431-8733. And they're waiting to do the job for you. Scott Gano, Landscaping and Tree Trimming in Hayburn. 431-8733. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm somewhat angry about this because the Democrats are so well sticking together. Not saying they're right or anything like that, but they do stick together. On the other hand, the Republicans, not so great. You take like John McCain and the other senator from Arizona, what's his name?
Well, you're talking about Flake?
Yes. Those two alone. And then you got people like the senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, who works both sides of the aisle. And we're not together, and we're not going to get anything done because of the 60-vote thing that we know who put that in.
Well, Keith, the whole thing boils down to, you summed it up very well in the opening of your comments about the Democrats. They have nothing to operate on except hatred. And then the Republicans, of which they need a lot of chastisement also, they're just so fragmented and they're so afraid to stick their foot in the water. They're not doing anything. If I were a member of that constituency back in Washington, be it the House of Representatives or the Senate, I would probably get thrown out of there for saying, come on, you bunch of louts, let's get it done. We were voted in office to serve our constituents. Let's do it. They're not.
It's just like, let's go back to World War II. Hitler got all these people behind him, and I mean, they were behind him. And it's hard to beat someone who is that determined to destroy you. And that's what the problem was with World War II. And these Democrats are doing the same thing.
I agree.
They're trying to get everybody so determined that the Republicans are wrong. And we're just standing back, listening to them and criticizing them for what they did. No, we should speak out and tell the way it is.
I got a weather forecast, my friend. Thank you so much. And I do agree with your comments. Thank you. It's past time. It's not time. It's past time to stand up and speak out about the values this country was founded on. Keith, you got to run. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, heck of an echo here this morning. Woo! driving me nuts. Time for the weather forecast brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're located right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. The number to call, 312-0957. Do not forget, they are dedicated to serving people with hearing loss of all ages and their families. You be sure and give them a call for a hearing screening today. Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, serving you. 312-0957. Right now, here's the weather.
Going to be decent for this morning, but as we make our way to the afternoon, not so much. Here's your weather forecast for us up at the ranch. We are looking at partly sunny skies for today, but as we move into the afternoon hours, we are expecting some storms that could be severe with large hail, damaging winds, and rain as well. Expecting a high of 78 tonight. Those storms could continue mostly before midnight, expecting a low of 52. For tomorrow, we do have a 60% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon hours, and partly sunny skies with a high of 72. Overnight low of 46, and then by Friday, 20% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies with a high of 70. Sunny and 80 for Saturday. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, my goodness. We might have a little bad, but then on the other side, a lot of good coming up towards the weekend with our weather. Sounds great. Hey, don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology. Very, very pleased to help you with your hearing needs. And you can trust your hearing health to Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. The number to call to make an appointment, I urge you to do so, 312-0957. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, this your comments about Mueller and company, there's been a movement all of our life and then before, but especially since the United Nations was formed in 45, and I guess both of us were infants at that time, or not too old, but it goes back 100 years where we have a situation where in 1913 we had the direct election of senators, we had the income tax amendment, we had the Federal Reserve System, and for the wealthy we had the tax-free foundations. So it's just us little peons out here that are paying the taxes, and but this destruction, I mean, you take Alger Hiss. He was the first Secretary General of the United Nations, convicted later as a communist spy.
Mm-hmm.
And he came into the wearer cell to disturb and try to destroy American agriculture, because farmers and ranchers in the old Soviet Union were the hardest to bring into subjection. And they had to starve to death, at least 6 million of them in Ukraine alone. And so, you know, this whole deal is about world government.
Yep.
You look at the big picture.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, Adrian. Wait a minute. Let me have a break in here. I agree with everything you said, and all they need to do is read Saul Alinsky and some of these other authors about what's happening around our country right now. It's all in a kind of a lockstep towards a one world government, one world control, one party control. And look at the healthcare system. The Democrats are eventually going to stand right up, and they're going to have the backbone and say, well, we're for single payer, and that's our main objective. They're ruining everything in this country that we used to stand up for, because the right, the Republicans and conservatives, we don't have the backbone to tell them to get out of Dodge City.
Well, there's a quote from Albert Einstein, better than the average scientist by all means.
Oh, yeah.
And he made a quote. He said, the United States will not be destroyed by an invading army, but it'll be destroyed by apathy.
Yep.
And just looking, with all of the free people in the governor's race, we had a lot of contested primary races, and the small percentage of people that go out and vote or take any kind of a stand. But I just wanted to I was back in Washington, D.C. with college friends. They live in Arlington, Virginia. The 7th day of this month, I was at Arlington National Cemetery and watched the changing of the guard. There's over 420,000 people that died to preserve the liberties in that one cemetery alone, let alone all the cemeteries that are in Europe and other places.
Yeah. Hey, Adrian, I've got to run. I've got to get a commercial break in here. I've got to get a commercial break in here right now, Adrian, but you have done something that a lot of people need to do, and that's take moments and minutes or maybe even hours and stand there at Arlington Cemetery and pay tribute to those that have tried to keep the values of this great country as they were. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, it's a great country, but we've got to stand up and fight, and we can't do it just going to church on Sunday and then, we've got to be contacting our elected officials. They've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, and then you just throw it in the corner and do whatever they want to do.
I agree. Thank you very much. I appreciate your call this morning. Thank you. Don't forget our major sponsor, and then we'll take some more calls. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Getting ready for a road trip? You're going to go to Colorado? You're headed down to Arkansas? Well, how about you're driving up to Canada? Well, if you've got a road trip planned, don't forget to get into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. They've got all the tires, all the tread designs for your safe driving. Stop in and see them today. Check out all the tires for your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever. They've got them all. And don't forget, too, they offer a free pre-trip safety check. They'll check the air pressure, the brake components to make sure the wheel alignments for tire wear. They'll check the front end components, shocks and struts, the battery, including a load test. Oh, they want you to have fun going to your vacation. Whoop. And then turning around and coming back home. Don't forget the very best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely the best. Did you hear, and I don't know what you think of this, but I'd love you to give me a call. This guy is a has-been. He is a never will, and he may run again in 2020. One of his spokespeople left the door open that Bernie Sanders, wild-haired Bernie, might run again for president in 2020. What is he going to be? 117 years old or something like that? Bernie, please, you're like Hillary. Just kind of fade away, if you would, please. Bernie Sanders, honestly, there were some people that worked for him that have kind of opened the door a little bit and left it ajar that possibly wild-haired Bernie might run for the presidency again in 2020. Oh, please, help us. No. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call, please. I'd like to hear from you about any of the subject matter that we've talked about so far this morning. One thing I wanted to mention that about the NFL, I had quite a few calls yesterday on my cell phone about the comments I made about the NFL yesterday. And I'm not going to weaken. I'm not going to back up. The National Football League, which a long time ago, there was a comment about that stands for not for long if they don't clean up their act, and that's really true. They'd better adhere to a tough policy on the national anthem with the players. The players are starting to take control of the entirety of the NFL, and I think that's entirely wrong. One New York Giants football player invited President Donald Trump into the locker room to hear their complaints and their wishes. Don't go. Don't get involved in that, President Trump. I mean, make a comment if you will, but do not ever accept any kind of a meeting with these players in the locker room. I would not go, and I would not give any credence to them whatsoever. The basics are that our national anthem and our flag that flies over this country flies for all of us. That flag is not discriminatory. And the land that it flies over is a nation that's unequaled at any other time in this world's history. Nobody has accomplished what the United States of America has and is continuing to do. And I'm not about to sit here and let these people that are race dividers and haters, I'm not about to sit here and listen to overpaid, underworked athletes that have the gimme mentality make demands, and you shouldn't either. I mean this, and I said this to one of the callers yesterday. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers takes a knee or sits during the national anthem. I honestly feel at that juncture he should be fired. I don't want to ever support a sport or a group of athletes that can't support our military and our country values and our flag. I condemn them if they do. Continue this idiocy of kneeling or sitting during our national anthem. Caller, real quick. I've got 30 seconds, and that's it. Go fast.
I like what Rush Limbaugh stated the other day. He said, instead of finding the team's money, find them points. He said, for you could start a game out minus 17-0 if you've got people sitting.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks and some of the Steelers and others would probably go out at the beginning of the game and find themselves down 35-0.
You bet, and let the owners deal with that.
I agree. Doug, appreciate it. Got to run. Thank you. We're going to take a little break for the news. CBS coming up next, and then we'll have Dave Bigo and Frosty Woolridge. Don't go away. Wheels, take it away. Morning, and welcome back to hour number 2, Zebeth Ranch on a Wednesday. And every time I say this, I go, holy smokes, already May 30th. And our thanks go out to our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. And they can help you get ready for a road trip with the best of tires. And don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's have this good word for Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services,
Always at your disposal. And don't forget, too, they've got those Go Mini storage units. You better believe it. They can bring one over to your place. You can fill it up. You can store it right there on your property. Or they'll take it over on their property, lock it up, and there it is, safe whenever you need it. You check it out, the Go Minis with Western Waste Services. The number to call, 734-6969. They are always at your disposal. Western Waste Services. Want to remind you, too, excuse me, I got that frog back in my throat again this week. I wished I'd send him back to the swamp. Want to remind you on Thursdays at 9:17, of course, your friends that care for you right here at home, your friends, your neighbors, Cassia Regional Hospital. Quality care close to home. We'll have one of the interesting people from Cassia Regional on tomorrow morning at 9:17. You stay tuned for your Cassia Regional Hospital. And don't forget to our friends with Ark Animal Hospital for your dogs, kitty cats, your roping steers, your cows, your horses, whatever. Mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they do love them all. You get a hold of them today, and don't forget to have the proper identification for your dogs and your kitty cats. They've got all of that right over there at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. The number number to call, 678-1177. And they do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. I don't know if his nose are cold or not. Here's Dave Bego, Indianapolis, Indiana. Good morning, David. How are you?
Good. How you doing this morning, Zeb?
Not too bad. I want to get right into things this morning, David, and talk a little bit about the Supreme Court, unions, and the right to work. What's going on? Give us an update.
Well, on right to work, it's being, appealed. A decision is being appealed in Idaho, so and we'll find out. And the unions there that are pushing that in the Supreme Court, the Ninth Circuit Court out there, are trying to get it to, if they win this, that they actually have right to work eliminated across the country. And but on the other side of that, Congress has got a right to work bill that they're pushing through, and hopefully, and I've sent out emails to people to go to the National Right to Work Committee's website, and they can go in there and sign up on a thing that will ask Congress to pass this bill to give people freedom of choice across the country. So, these are big things that are going on. And then the other thing is we've got a case going on that'll be heard in June with the Supreme Court. And with that particular case, it will decide whether people have to pay union dues or agency fees or anything like that. And right now it's a 4-4 tie based on, the presentation from the Supreme Court. But Trump's appointee to the Supreme Court, he was very quiet. It looks like he's going to go for the union people, and that could really put a big crunch on unions across the country.
You honestly think that will go 5-4 against the workers, right?
No, against the union.
Oh, okay, fine. I misunderstood. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a little hard to hear you today. It's very low volume on your end.
Well, Wheels is going to have to ride that gain over there. That's what I pay him the big bucks for. While I've got you on the phone this morning, there's a couple of other issues I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, this situation might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but it is very, I think, discerning as to what's happening in our United States. The cancellation of the Roseanne Barr TV show, I think, has much more under the scenes and under the headlines than a lot of people realize. What are your thoughts?
Well, Zeb, it goes back to what I've been talking about for many years now, and that's the fact that behind the scenes, the media is being controlled by the unions and the far left. And, Roseanne came out very conservative and went after people on some things. And, she, and right away, I'm sure behind the scenes, ABC was attacked. And so they took her off. And we're going to see more and more of this stuff as time goes by, unless people stand up and realize that the media needs to stand up and have some backbone and tell the unions and the far left, we're not going to put up with this stuff anymore. We're going to report the news the way it should be reported, honestly, with integrity.
I can't mention the name because he asked me to not mention his name in this regard, but let's just say that I talked to a person with ESPN, and ESPN has gone completely off the rails, being completely liberal and very biased against anything that's conservative. And this particular person told me about 2 weeks ago, working at ESPN is like sticking your head in a hangman's noose. You make one mistake towards conservatism or family values, you're out of here.
Yeah, I believe that altogether. And, what's ironic about all this thing is, you hear the unions and the far left talking that they want to do all these things for people and give them stuff and make sure that they have a good life and everything's fair and equal and social justice and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, what they do behind the scenes to control people, just like this guy at ESPN said, ought to wake people up. Step back, watch what they say. It's not do as I say, it's do as they do. And you need to watch what they do, because what they do is what's against America, and the people in this country.
Let me ask you this, Dave, and I'm not saying what Roseanne Barr said should it all be repeated. I'm not saying that I agree with her joke about Valerie Jarrett whatsoever. But the caveat is, and you know it so well, that what did she say that was so wrong as compared to the New York Times columnist, Charles Blau, that came out and called Donald Trump a racist, called him a white supremacist, and also called the president a weasel? I mean, where's the differentiation there between the liberal and the conservative remark?
Again, it comes back to that, do as I say, not as I do. They want us to do what they want us to do and say what they want us to say. And they want this political correctness in speech and, again, social justice and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they'll do anything on the other side that they feel they can attack and bring somebody down. And I've been through this with the unions, with the SEIU, and more people are reading my book and starting to wake up to the fact that all the things that are going on in America today are the same type of tactics the SEIU used against me and my people and my customers and others. And this is how they look at ruling, and they don't understand how to operate in a free market capitalistic society. They only know how to do it in a socialistic, communistic society where they have control.
You know, I asked this question in the first hour on my program, and I'll ask it again of you on the program this morning, Dave. Why? Why are the Democrats, why are they sticking like adhesive tape to the policies of open borders and breaking the laws and using that as a part of their platform in an anti-American attitude? How are they ever going to exist without turning this country into absolute chaos?
Well, you know, again, they want the borders open because they want to use these people behind the scenes for votes, and that's what it's all about. I've written blogs about this. I've talked about it. If you go in and you look at elections, in a lot of cases, like Harry Reid out in Nevada, last time he got elected because he was behind in the polls. But in the last couple of weeks, the unions, especially the SEIU, the one I fought, brought people to the polls that weren't even registered and got them to vote in his favor. And they tell people who to vote for. And I've actually had people, when I've been on radio programs, call in and say, Mr. Bego's right. I worked for a company, and SEIU came up, picked me up, took me to the polls, and told me who to vote for and intimidated me. This is what they do, and they do this with illegals. And at the end of the day, they look at it when they reach their goal, is to turn these illegals into legals and unionize them so that they have the votes and the money for the party.
Dave, I want to ask you, you've been a great athlete, high school, college, etc. I've been around sports all my life also. This problem with the National Football League, I don't think is going to go away. This problem with the National Football League and our national anthem, I think is going to be exacerbated again this year by athletes that are overpaid and underworked and prima donnas. I think this problem with the national anthem is going to be more disrespectful than ever this year because Goodell and the NFL have done nothing to quash this problem. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, they came out with their new program, but at the end of the day, what does it say? They can stay in the locker room until the national anthem's over, but you know how that's going to work. And yeah, at the end of the day, too, behind this, and I don't know if you saw after they came out in the papers, and they say they had this thing where the players could stay in the locker room and that, but a little bit later they came back out with articles saying that the players union was behind this and was supporting the players and was going to put more and more pressure on the ownership in the NFL and that. And this is the thing. These guys in the NFL, the owners and Brazil, that they need to stand up and have backbone and say, we're not going to do this. We're going to do what's right in America.
Okay, but why aren't we doing that? I mean, we've got a lot of people in this country that are athletes that absolutely look at the NFL and they wrinkle their nose because of what's happening. We had country singer Trace Adkins, a guy that I really admire his music and everything, and he's adamant that if these players cannot stand for the national anthem, they should be out of there. I think there has to be something as employers' rights, and whether it's Jerry Jones with the Cowboys or whomever, you don't go by my rules, you don't play by my team rules, you don't exhibit the way I want you as a team in front of the national public, you're out of here. What's the matter with that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's the way it should be, but it's getting these people to stand up, and a lot of business people will not stand up. It's kind of like I even talked about it in my second book, The Devil at Our Doorstep. A guy in Fort Wayne, Indiana, read my first book, and he came down to Indianapolis, and we met, and he says, Dave, I read your book. He says, I support you on everything. He says, I'm just, honored by your backbone and what you did. He says, if they would have done that to me, I couldn't have done it. He says, I couldn't have understood, gone through the psychological pressure they put on, and, the way they went after you, and I wouldn't have paid the money it took to fight them. He says, and I know, and he said this to me, because I know probably 95% of the business people in this country wouldn't go through this and fight them like you did. He says, somehow we need to stand up and do that. And in the future, I'm going to have backbone. And this is what we need business owners to do, have backbone, put up with the pressure and the psychological stuff, do what's right.
Where and when did this country and its leadership and us, the general public, where did we lose our backbone and our spine to stand up and say, don't tread on me?
Well, I think it's been happening over 40, 50 years since, we won the world wars and stuff like that, and beaten the terrorists, ISIS, and all that. And they've all said, if you think back about this and you read back in the past, they said, we know we can't beat America from a military standpoint. We're going to bring it down from within. And I think they've integrated into our education system and, schools and all that, and even into the minds of religious people and stuff like that. And they have totally changed the mindset over the last 30 or 40 years. And it's time for these people to step back and think about what these people were telling them, that they weren't being honest with them, that this is all about them having control.
Dave, you and I have talked about this many times before, but I think it's worth mentioning again. I think there still are a lot of good people out there. I think there are still a lot of good, strong families. But when they go to church on Sunday morning, I think they should hear the same power coming from the pulpit to them as to how they can make their community and their world better through their Christianity. Or the kids going to school, how they can stand up as citizens of this great United States and make our country better. But that's not happening. And those two sources, education and church going, have got to, I think, become a lot tougher and more firm about what are the values of America.
Well, I agree, and the unfortunate part, both in education and in the ministry, these people, they've been brainwashed, and, I'm Catholic. Even the Pope, comes out time, he's for social justice and all this stuff because he thinks it sounds good that we're going to give these people things and do all this stuff and that, and he doesn't understand at the end of the day they could care less about the people. And this is what we got to wake them up to. And I'll be honest with you, I've been talking to a Catholic priest about this, and the ones that I've had meetings with, they agree that too much of this is going on and that it has to stop. And the bishops across America need to wake up. And here's the other part, though, too, is that Catholic Bishops Association and I know other religions are getting money from the federal government for doing things for people and stuff like this. It all goes back to the social justice stuff. And because of that, they're getting a lot of money in, and they don't want to backtrack on that and lose the money they're getting from the federal government. And this is the other part that has to stop in this country, is that our federal government has to stop giving money to, religious groups and other things like that. And our education program needs to get back to the private sector, to be honest with you, because it's all being controlled.
You know, you mentioned the almighty dollar, and I put that in quotation marks, and I say it with a sneer. It's absolutely a crying shame, a shame that this country now worships money more than they do the Lord above and the family values that have made this country great. It makes me sick.
Well, it is, and but Zeb, it comes back to this social justice thing where people should make more. There should be income equality and all this kind of stuff. And again, this is all to brainwash. I mean, you think about it. If you go into union shops and you watch people work, they don't work very hard. They can only do certain things, and if they step out of line and work a little bit too hard, they get slapped on the wrist. I was talking to a guy the other day that was telling me he worked in the union, and he got done doing what he was supposed to do. He wanted to do something else, and not management, but the union had him sent home.
Unbelievable. You know, you mentioned the words income equality, and I'll give my cowboy reaction to that. Get up off your dead butt, work harder, work smarter, and have and achieve income equality.
That's exactly right. I was talking to, I don't know, I forget where we were at. We were at a restaurant eating, and I was talking to a gal, and she had moved up to certain levels in that, and she says, I don't know if I can go any further in that. And I said, here working, I watched you, and you look like you're hustling around, working hard. You got to keep doing that. Maybe you go out and start your own little business someday and move up. I mean, she said, that's what I did, and you can't let yourself get trapped in a little box. You got to think outside the box.
But there again, it goes back to education, and it goes back to teachers, and it goes back again to churches and the ministers and church leaders to give people an inspirational attitude so they can go out and use the talents that God has given them.
Oh, I agree. And we all, like I say, I've talked to Catholic priests, and I've talked to other people, and we got more and more people that listen to your show and other shows that talk about this stuff. Get out and talk to the teachers and these people out there and wake them up.
I wonder, and I sometimes am very cynical about this, I wonder if it's too easy to be slovenly and lazy, and we've given the tin cup society to where it's a gimme, 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 and I wonder if we took that tin cup away, if maybe we couldn't turn this country around.
Well, I think we're in the process of it because what Trump's done is he's... unemployment is very low. It's hard to find people for jobs all over the country in any business you're in. But I think the last thing they need to do is they need to go in and get rid of all the entitlement programs and get people off their seats and go back to work. And then they got to go out and wake up and find out, hey, I've got to do something besides sit in a chair and collect entitlement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Final thought on a little bit of a lighter note. Neither of the teams that are going to be competing in the National Basketball Association World Finals are my favorites, the Warriors or the Rockets. I don't like either one of them, but they do possess a lot of great basketball talent. Who, in your opinion, Mr. Basketball, is going to be the world champion?
Who did you say is playing in that now?
The Warriors and the Rockets, my friend.
I think it's the Cavaliers and the Rockets.
I'm sorry. I was in the Western Conference Finals. I'm thinking the Warriors and the Cavaliers for the title. I apologize. I dislike LeBron James so much, I excluded him from the title.
Yeah, well, the Pacers should have beat them, and that's too bad. But I think at the end of the day, one thing that the Cavaliers have, they have a lot of spunk, and they don't give up. They keep fighting back hard. And, again, that goes back to what we need to do with what's going on in America today. Keep fighting back hard.
Amen. Thank you for the correction. My mind was still with the conference finals. I didn't like how that came out either. Dave Bigo, Indianapolis, Indiana, one of my dearest friends. Thank you so much. I always appreciate you on the program. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Well, thanks, and I hope your lovely wife is doing well.
I will call you after the program and let you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Dave Bigo, Indianapolis. I don't know why I made that faux pas. I was thinking about the Western Conference Finals, and I thought the Rockets had that game in the bag, and they gave it back to the Warriors. And yes, Dave, thank you for the correction. It's going to be the Cavaliers with LeBron James, to whom I don't like that guy. I think LeBron James is nothing more than a drama queen. And against the Warriors, and we'll see what happens. Good basketball, a lot of talent, but I don't like either team. Let's see what we've got to do. We've got to tell everybody about our friends at Hanson Mortuary, and especially our dear friend Joel Heward, the manager, his family, and his staff, always serving you at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, and of course, always, and I mean this, with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. I urge you to give them a call at 436-5636. Let them serve your family. And remember this too. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward is also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Remember, Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. One thing, too, we have got something really special tomorrow starting on the program and going for at least a couple of months. I am excited because we've got the world's greatest fisherman, the world's greatest, most knowledgeable man about what to use, how to catch the big ones, where to go, etc., and that's Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse. We're going to start that program again called The Old Fishing Hole. We're going to start that tomorrow at 10:32 right here on Zeb at the Ranch, and he's going to be actually over at Lake Walcott tomorrow fishing while he's on the program, telling us all about bass fishing and everything else. That's tomorrow at 10:30. Don't miss it. Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls, is going to be at Lake Walcott on the air live fishing for bass tomorrow morning at 10:30. Don't miss it. I want to also give a big shout-out to our friend Jeff and the rest of the crew at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Woo! They got all the floor coverings. Yes, they do! And all the carpet and the luxury vinyl planks. Oh, my goodness. And they got a brand-new shipment of sofas and recliners and love seats in, and all the mattresses. The list goes on. Absolutely, you stop in for the comfort and beautification of your home at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. And oh, by the way, real quick, don't forget on Tuesdays at 9:30, it's Vicky's Country Garden right here on my program. Oh, you can learn all about gardening. I do more every week. 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Vicky's Country Garden, 438-5663. 21 years serving you. Let's go to the phone line right now. My friend, and I'm so glad that he's on the program with us this morning. Hello, Frosty Woldridge. How are you?
And good morning, Zeb. I'm very well, thank you. And it's exciting. We have some sunshine and blue skies here in Colorado at 8,000 feet in the Rocky Mountains, and I hope the same there for you in Idaho. And spring has sprung, and we're looking forward to a great summer, and I'm excited to be with you this morning for sure, just to give a wrap-up of that series.
I want to compliment you, and you and I have been friends. Deanna and I were trying to remember the first time that we actually visited. It's been almost, 20 years ago, and I want to compliment you on your diligence, your perseverance, and your intelligence over the issues that you talk and write about. Your 4-part series was spot on with the numbers and the facts to back it up. And to all the naysayers out there, this man knows what he's talking about, and you should take the time to understand what he is saying. Frosty, I commend you.
Well, thank you, Zeb. And one of the things I would really invite all of the liberals out there who are the open borders people to really take a close look at what we're facing. And again, as I've said, I respect all races and all colors and all ethnic groups around the world. And I respect all countries, and I respect their boundaries, and I respect their borders. As a world traveler, I've come to respect every single person on the planet because every single person is doing the best that he or she can during each person's lifetimes. And one of the things that I really want to make clear to conservative thinkers and certainly liberal thinkers and certainly independent thinkers is the fact that it takes an extraordinary amount of national cohesion to hold a country together. That means we have to have a single language. I mean, it's great for an individual who speaks 5 languages or even more, like my brother Howard, or even my brother Rex, who speaks 3 languages. The key here is that we need a single language to be a cohesive country. We also need a single culture. The American culture has been the most successful in gathering all of the people in this country to stand for the American flag, Old Glory, stand for the anthem, so that we're all at one with, I think it's e pluribus unum, from the many one. And the key is this single culture, this single language, and this ethos, the ethos that binds us together. That perfect storm that I talked about in the series is breaking us apart. And either we stop it and we stop mass immigration into our country, as I said in that 3-part series, or we're simply going to continue to fracture throughout the country. And, of course, the environmental impacts of that series when you add 100 million immigrants. And I think, Zeb, I really surprised a lot of people on the air with the knowledge that Idaho is going to add 10 million more people if we don't rescind the Immigration Reform Act of 1965, because we're on course to do that. And you have to realize when you add 100 million immigrants, they got to go somewhere. And I gave the figures. Florida was going to double from 18 million to 36 million within 30 years. California is going to add another 20 million within 30 years. And, of course, the list goes on. Colorado, where I live, is going to jump from 5 million to 10 million. So you in Idaho can even expect more than a doubling. You're going to quadruple, I think, there in Idaho. So you have to ask yourself whether you're a liberal or an independent or even a conservative, do you want this in your community? Do you want all of this fractious languages? Do you want these fractious cultures? Do you want your ethos completely turned upside down? And then, will we have any identity left to be American citizens? And, of course, the answer is we're going to be so fractured, and our ethos and our culture and our languages are going to put us at odds with one another. And I, of course, during that time I was giving you the entire series, I've given so many examples. Malmö, Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden right now are in a mess. Oslo right now is now turning from 100% Norwegian, it's 35% Muslim, and they're pushing for a Sharia law. The Latinos down there in the border states are literally turning to La Raza to create the New Mexico north of the border. And so we're in a serious point in time, and as you all know, the Congress of the United States is doing nothing about it, whether it's the diversity visas or whether it's chain migration visas or whether it's the 350,000 anchor babies every year, which you and I pay for. Nothing is being done, and that, I hope, has everybody a little bit on edge, because if nothing's being done now, what happens when it's not being done 10 years from now when there's another 35 million people added to this country through immigration? Zeb, I hope this thing makes sense, and I would love to have any liberals come on the show and debate me. Let's have a conversation. Where do you think this is going to go, and how is it going to end up? Is it going to end up like Lebanon? Is it going to end up like Sweden, which is now the rape capital of all of Europe? Is it going to turn into another consequence such as Miami or Detroit or certainly Minneapolis, Minnesota? I hope these questions are really jumping down the minds, if you will, of the liberals out there that are so open border and so amnesty-oriented and so wonderfully multiculturalized and diversified, because in the end, those little theories do not work in reality, and that what happens is you have the Roman Empire just simply disintegrated, the Persian Empire disintegrated. You're seeing the disintegration of Lebanon. You're just seeing the disintegration of Europe right now. This is not funny stuff. this stuff is happening to our country too, Jeff.
Well, and I had a call, I think it was on Saturday morning, from a person from outside of this area, and they listened to us on the internet service, zebbell.com, and the call was not a friendly call. It was a call of animosity against the 4-part series, and this person, I'm going to sum up and just tell you what I responded back to, but this person said, it's good to have different cultures in our society. It's good to be educated about the different cultures, and it's good to have them here. And I said, wait a minute. Not at the expense and the demise of our own culture, and that's what's happening in the fracturing of America. Am I right or wrong?
You would be correct. Such starry-eyed idealists like that, have them move to Saudi Arabia and see what kind of culture they slam up against. Have them move to Lebanon. Have them move into Malmo right now, where the Muslims are literally taking over Malmo, Sweden, and they've literally... you go into the no-go zones of Paris, France, and tell me if you think multiculturalism and all these additional cultures there in France are a good thing. The reality is they are absolutely violent. That you're shoving people from Somalia, which is a third world country with illiteracy at 99% of these people, with a very, very low intellectual capacity. And then you're shoving them into high-speed, first world countries where technology is the key and education is the key. But if you can't become educated because you don't have the ability to get educated or the interest to become educated, then you only can become a ward of the state. And that's what's happened. Literally, all of the Somalis that are in Minneapolis or certainly in any of the areas that they've come, they've become wards of the state. They live on your and my tax dollars, and I guess I would take that same person, transport yourself to Somalia and see how you like it to go over to Somalia and become a part of Somalian society. See how the multiculturalism and the diversity works for you when you move to Somalia, or you move to Sudan, or you move to the Republic of Congo, or you move into Ethiopia. You see. The key here is we're being devolved, and transformed, if you will, into everybody else's culture, and it's not working. We're finding incredible flight of Americans in every city that this is happening to, and every state that this is happening to. Look at New York City; they're losing people left and right. Look at Los Angeles; they're losing Americans left and right, and you're seeing this tremendous shift, this demographic shift of Americans fleeing those places that are no longer anything that they recognize or can identify with. And in the end, if you look at all the violence that's going on, look at the situations that are manifesting in our cities and our schools, that's because people don't have an identity. You need to have an identity, and that identity is to be an American citizen, to be loyal to America. And we're not seeing that anymore with such things as La Raza, certainly the Muslim Brotherhood, CARE, the Conference, the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is a front group for a terrorist organization. Certainly, you can go into Black Lives Matter. These are the things that we're facing, and they're not so much fun.
When you listen to the vile stupidity and the rhetoric from absolute anti-American beings, one of them a representative in Congress, Keith Ellison, another one with the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan, and then you listen to the Democrats in general, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and others about open borders and basically defying the law, it amazes me how America can be so stupid as to listen to these people.
Well, once again, the people that vote in such a Maxine Waters or a John Lewis in Georgia or a Hank Johnson down there in Georgia also, or that Hudson gal down in Florida, you're seeing a complete abrogation of the American way of life. And Keith Ellison is a Muslim Brotherhood advocate. He would install Sharia law into the United States. In other words, Sharia law, female genital mutilation without choice, given to every Muslim girl before the age of 9, It's a barbaric practice. It is a bloody practice. It is a horrific practice. It's a ritual that has no place in our country, and yet we now have 500,000 female genital mutilations out there. Tell me, you, the liberal that's listening, you think that's a good thing? And where is the voice of all women's livers out there that would like to see little girls have their sexuality cut out of them before the age of 9? And then, now that we have an average of 25 honor killings in the United States right now, no Muslim woman is safe, even here in America, from an honor killing, and that was reported by Ed O'Callahan, the Assistant District Attorney, on February 2nd at a White House news conference. I saw it myself. He reported this. This is fact. And how many of you liberals out there think that kind of multicultural or diversity aspect now imposing itself on America? How would you like to have your daughter married to a 40-year-old man because it's called arranged marriages in the Islamic way of life, in Sharia law? Do you think a 12-year-old girl should be married to a 40-year-old man? If you think that's great multiculturalism, how about the acid attacks? How about acid attacks on women that speak up in the Muslim religion and they get hit with a Muslim with an acid attack to their faces? And I can give you hundreds and hundreds of examples of that. Just go on the internet. So let's really get down to the reality of breaking up America's culture. I think our culture is pretty cool. We have women's rights. We have African Americans have all the rights in the world. They can choose their education. They can get a job. They can live a decent life as compared to living in Africa. Have you been to Africa? Anybody? Check it out. Over 15 million have died to death in Africa from AIDS. Do we have 15 million dying of AIDS in the United States? How about literally hundreds of thousands, millions of children have starved to death in Africa? Do we have hundreds of thousands or millions of children starving to death in America? I don't think so. We have to get to reality here. Do we want to become like Africa, or do we want to become like India, or do we want to become like China, where we're stacked up on each other like an unending petri dish? Do I make sense? And how can some liberal is sitting out there listening to that series, which had all facts, all realities, and all of the best reporting that I can bring, how could they sit there and say what a terrible thing I'm saying, or oh, we've got to have more multiculturalism? Zeb, I do not understand how anybody can be that unthinking, that shallow, that vacuous. But, of course, if they follow a Nancy Pelosi who is vacuous, who doesn't know what she's doing, or a Maxine Waters who has the brains of a gnat, I'm sorry. These people are not the future of America, and these legislators do not know what's happening in America right now, period.
Absolutely. One other concept about the borders, open borders, and illegal immigration, et cetera, into this country. I want to have you kind of give a recap. I've got about 4.5 minutes left maximum, and then I got a commercial break I've got to get in, Frosty. But I want you to talk about there is still the arm twisting going on and the verbal haranguing to try to implore President Trump to install a DACA program for the younger generation. I say no. I say no. They were brought in here to this country illegally. They've resided here illegally. I don't feel the compassion of giving and providing to them over and above our own citizens' children for their education or their welfare as far as jobs are concerned and the availability. I say no to President Trump even thinking about renewing DACA. What are your thoughts?
Exactly. That's 1.8 million, from what I understand, of these DACA kids. I understand that between 50 and 60% of them didn't even graduate from high school.
That's right.
So all they are is wards of the state. In the end, we should find their parents, grab their parents, detain their parents, and then deport their parents and deport their children with their parents. These kids are not our responsibility. I don't care if they got brought here with their parents illegally or not. They are not Americans. They don't belong here. They're not of our country. And when they got a free education with free breakfasts and lunches that cost us billions and billions of dollars, 50 to 60% of them didn't even take the time to graduate from our high schools. Well, guess what? That's the norm down in Mexico. Mexico and Mexicans do not absolutely do not cherish or care about education. They drop out by the 6th grade. God bless Mexico and all the Mexicans, but if that's what you want for your country, and that's the kind of poverty you want, and that's what you want to keep on doing, and that's why you have so much poverty in Mexico, because everybody literally lacks an education to be able to do anything, then that's their deal. But don't bring it onto our country and to our neighborhoods and our communities. We don't need it. We don't need anything that Mexico is literally migrating into our direction. They're poorest, they're most uneducated, and literally the welfare recipients of all this literally illiteracy. It's frustrating beyond belief. But DACA, no, we don't need them, and we don't want them, and they're not our citizens. They're not our kids. We need to take care of American kids. At the most, I might give them a proviso. They could have a work permit to work on the farms or whatever, and prove themselves, and then get themselves better, and then go back home. But no, we don't need to give all these DACA recipients instant citizenship. They don't deserve it, and we don't have to give it, because it's against the law what their parents did and what they're doing right now.
You are going to be on the program with me next Monday, and we're going to have our normal time slot at 9:06. But then you and your wife, I believe, are taking off and really going to go on an educational tour. Tell us a little bit quickly about what you're going to do this summer.
Well, this summer, as you all know, I'm 71 years old, and the train's coming into the station here, and I'm coming to the end of the line, and I expect to live another at least 10 years, and every summer I'm just packing it in. I'm going to do everything I can to make the last 10 years of my life fantastic. So Sandy and I are coming up to Idaho just to stop and see you and Deanne, so that's going to be a lot of fun, and really special to us because we don't get to see each other face-to-face very often. And we're in a car. We're bringing our 2 bicycles, and we're going to reach the Bellingham, Washington, and then ride our bicycles down the West Coast all the way to Tijuana, Mexico. And along the way, I'll be interviewing people left and right, taking tons of pictures. I'll come back from that trip. I'm going to backpack 2 weeks on the Colorado Trail to finish that up in 2020 because it's 489 miles long. And then I'm going to do a fall color tour, a bicycle trip from Golden to Aspen, Colorado, to see the fall colors, and then settle back in October, writing this latest book, America's Overpopulation Predicament: Blindsiding Future Generations. So yeah, I got a big summer plan, and we're so excited, and Sandy and I are excited to see you and Deanne. So it's going to be fantastic. And the one thing it allows me, after working such horrendous hours through October through May of every year, I get a chance to just let my mind go, take it easy, not worry about the world's troubles, and then gather information so that I can come back fresh to you in the fall and fresh with all the articles I write about trying to hold our country together, trying to stop this mass immigration insanity, and I need to be refreshed to do that. And so the summer is that time to be really refreshed and enlightened at the same time. So I'm thrilled to be able to do that.
Living life and enjoying life, Frosty Woolridge. Oh, a personal note real fast, Frosty. Upon your arrival here at my back door with you and your lovely wife, please be advised that we do not have, or will we have, a tofu turkey for you for your eating enjoyment?
Well, okay. We'll bring the tofu turkey and salad.
Okay. God bless you, man.
I still have your tofu. I've got your special turkey knife out. I use it in the garage. I think I cut the leather or something with it, but I still have your beautiful knife.
Okay.
Except at the ranch knife. So do know that I use it.
Okay. God bless you, my dear friend. We will talk to you Monday. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much.
Okay, Zeb.
Take care.
Godspeed to everyone. Have a great summer.
My friend, Frosty Woolridge in Golden, Colorado. He is very knowledgeable about what's happening with illegal immigration and immigration in general in this country. Right now, we've got to have a weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by our friends at Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. Now, these people know. These people care, and these people want to help you with your family taxes and your business, and they've got a lot of great ideas on tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, retirement planning. All you need to do is just make sure you make an appointment with them and go see them. Let them help you at Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be decent for this morning, but as we make our way to the afternoon, not so much. Here's your weather forecast for us at the ranch. We are looking at partly sunny skies for today, but as we move into the afternoon hours, we are expecting some storms that could be severe with large hail, damaging winds, and rain as well. Expecting a high of 78 tonight. Those storms could continue mostly before midnight, expecting a low of 52. For tomorrow, we do have a 60% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon hours, and partly sunny skies with a high of 72, overnight low of 46, and then by Friday, 20% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies with a high of 70, sunny and 80 for Saturday. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, Gina, great job. Thank you very much. And talking about great job, I guarantee you they'll do a great job for you, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. As I said, the very best of accounting services to you and your family and your business. Get a hold of them today. They can and they will help you with offices in Burley and Rupert. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. By the way, if you like to four-wheel like I do, I love getting out and just enjoying all the beauty of southern Idaho. Don't forget Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. Man, they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And they've got a showroom that is just jam-packed with all the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides and, oh my goodness, all the accessories that you could ever possibly need. And along with that, Nick and Randy and the crew over at Let's Ride, they've got the best doggone service department around to keep you running. Hey, stop in and see them today. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world, where the fun is sold. And by the way, too, don't forget, over in that same area, some really, really good friends of ours at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, and so much more. These folks are really accessible and devoted to serving you. So please make an appointment today. All you need to do is pick up the landline, give them a call, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, serving you. Once again, the Mini-Cassia Auto Collectors Classics on the Grass is going to be this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at the Cassia County Fairgrounds. Don't forget, some of the neatest, greatest old cars and fixed-up cars and really unbelievable cars are going to be there at the Classics on the Grass at the Cassia County Fairgrounds this weekend. Don't you forget to be there. Coming up next hour, we have, of course, Dan Perkins, author and political analyst, going to be talking about high gas prices and also the North Korean possible summit. And then at 10:30 this morning, two really nice guys, George Mass and J.R. Strunk, are going to be on here talking about the 4th Annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride and all of that coming up in the next hour. Right now, the news next from CBS. Wheels, take it away. Oh, good morning, and welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch on a Wednesday morning that all of a sudden has started to sull up a little bit more, and it looks like we might have that weather forecast that Gina was talking about coming to fruition. Good morning, I'm Zeb Bell, and of course, Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you and telling you if you're getting ready for a road trip, stop in. They've got the best of tires for you. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and I have the deepest respect for this man as an author and also a political analyst, and it's always good to have him on the program. Dan Perkins, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Zeb?
I am wonderful, and it's good to have you back on the show. By the way, Dan, how's the book sales going? What about any new books on the horizon? Give us a little information about that before we start.
Well, I don't know whether you were, I told you, I had a marketing campaign with Facebook on all my books, and I got banned by Facebook, so I can't market my books on Facebook anymore.
What happened?
So I'm doing the best I can, trying to figure out what legal action, if any, I can take against Facebook, but that's another story. I'm working on my first historical fiction book, which is called Abraham Lincoln and the Second Assassin. And I'm about 114 chapters into that. My goal is to have it finished, to go into edit probably by early fall and published right after the first of the year. And I just, on the press right now, is a new children's book, which I was asked to write for a foundation here in Fort Myers that was put together to build a new children's hospital in Fort Myers, and it's called the Gallisandro Children's Hospital of Southwest Florida. It's the first hospital between St. Petersburg and Tampa, which is a long way. And it opened a year ago, and they transport the patients, the children, instead of putting them, whenever possible, instead of putting them on the big gurneys, they transport them around the hospital in red wagons.
Oh, my.
So I was asked by a benefactor of the hospital who loved my Peter the Little Irish Seal book, if I could write a book about a little red wagon. And so I did, and it's called Timmy and the Little Red Wagon. It's literally in production on the press right now, and every child who comes into the hospital, admitted to the hospital, will get a free copy of the book.
Wonderful. Dan, I don't want to beleaguer the point, and I don't want to put you into any murky waters, but I'm hearing this way too often, banned on Facebook or banned here or there. The purification by the liberals supposedly against conservatism or Christians. You're a major part of this. What's going on here? Would you care to elaborate?
Sure. I think from a very practical standpoint, Facebook virtually controls the marketing of products and services, books and whatever, on the internet. And as an individual who got 1.3 million page views in a very short period of time, they decided, for whatever reasons, which they never told me, that they're going to control what I can say. To me, that's a freedom of speech issue. And what my contention is, and I've written a little bit about this, is that the Facebooks and the Twitters and other social media who are banning people for what they want to say or think are interpreting the freedom of speech of the Constitution. And I don't think they're allowed to do that. I think that you can set some rules. So what I'm a proponent for right now is that I think that Facebook is basically breaking the Sherman antitrust rules,
right?
And as a national monopoly, and I think it needs to be broken up. And so, but I think the issue is that we have, even Zuckerberg, who was testifying before Congress, said that he comes from the Silicon Valley, which is extremely left. And so we have a situation where the left has control of this company and therefore has control of what goes on the platform called Facebook. The same thing is true of Twitter and other places, so that the left has really taken over a platform that allowed us as individuals to share with other people what we believe. And we not necessarily believe the same things that other people do, but the fact that you're no longer allowed to do it because you're banned because of what you think or what you say, that's too much power in a private corporation.
This is extremely chilling and scary to me, and I'm a 70-year-old man, and I'll use the words that I'm scared about the naivete of the American public in being duped by the liberals to denigrate our First Amendment. I'm fighting mad over this, Dan. Tell me what I can possibly do to help you.
If you have a congressman or a senator that you can write to and have them look into what's going on in terms of the editing and the silencing in social media of a conservative or religious point of view, that would be extremely helpful. And I would say write to them about the fact that Facebook looks like they have violated the Sherman antitrust. We broke up AT&T and we broke up Standard Oil because they had an unregulated monopoly. Well, Facebook has an unregulated monopoly of thought, which is extremely dangerous in the United States and around the world, and we have to stop that.
I am extremely close friends with many of that nature that you referred to, our congressmen and senators, on a first-name basis. I can guarantee you that they're going to hear from me over the next 48 hours. I'm not going to let this rest. Dan, let me...
If they want to talk to me, you know how to get a hold of me. Give that information to them. I'd be happy to talk to them too.
I appreciate that, and I will. Thank you. Dan, I'm extremely worried because I travel a lot. I travel more than most people, and right now I'm feeling a real slap in the face and a pinch in the pocketbook over these high gas prices. Why are we suffering with this again?
Well, if you understand that the price of gasoline is like the price of corn or soybeans or any commodity. It's a matter of supply and demand. When supply is abundant, like it was when OPEC decided to destroy the American oil infrastructure in 2014, we drove crude oil prices down to $26 a barrel because OPEC and the Russians just pumped and pumped and pumped, flooded the world markets with a glut of oil. And so the supply was much greater than the demand. So we had gas prices at I don't know what it got down to where you live, but here in Southwest Florida, I saw it as low as $1.47 a gallon. And as a result, as OPEC decided almost 2 years ago to start cutting production by 1.8 million barrels a day, they began to shrink the glut. And now they're in a situation where there's just about parity, meaning that the amount of available oil being pumped out of the ground is pretty close to equaling demand. However, there's a belief that demand will continue to rise faster than capacity, which means you're going to create a shortage of oil. So if the commodity is in short supply, it will start to go up in price. Add to that Mr. Trump, in his decision not to recertify Iran in the nuclear agreement, has said he's talked about putting on serious sanctions which would reduce Iran's world capacity to ship crude oil, and they're number 3 in the world at shipping about 3 million barrels a day. That supply will come out of the marketplace, which means there'll be a shortage of supply, which our American frackers can make up some of it, but not all of it. So you're looking at a continuing shrinking of supply with increasing of demand, especially as economies like ours heats up. So we're also now close to producing about 11 million barrels a day. And if we hit that number by year end, we will be the largest producer of crude oil in the world. In addition, we're now exporting about 2 million barrels a day of crude oil around the world, something we couldn't do as little as 2 years ago. And so it's a matter of supply and demand. But let's put it in perspective. I'm now paying $2.75 a gallon. I remember when I paid $5 a gallon. Not that before the pumping.
Mm-hmm.
but there's a different change here. Let me take you back in time a little bit and remind you of President Jimmy Carter when we had an Arab oil embargo and they stopped shipping crude oil to the United States. At that particular time, we were dependent upon the Middle East and OPEC for 65% of our energy consumption. 65%. So when they decided to shut down or restrict the flow of crude oil to the United States, our gas prices went up like crazy. Now, they're not as high then as they are today, but that's the evolution. Point is that if we go from, in my case, 147 to 275, that's $15 a tank full for me. I don't think it's going to change my summer vacation plans because of one very important non-energy related factor. When Jimmy Carter was president and we had the oil embargo, what he told us, you might remember this, he said, turn up your thermostats in the summertime, turn them down in the wintertime. You can't put up Christmas lights. You need to start wearing sweaters and understand that America's best years are behind it. And very similar to what Barack Obama was saying, America will never see 3% GDP again, and all those jobs that went overseas were never coming back. The new normal is going to be very minimal GDP growth. And Ronald Reagan came in with a vision, and that one person changed the psychology of the American people to the positive. Mm-hmm. And we had one of the biggest booms that we've ever had in our country. Donald Trump was coming in after Obama, and his message to the American people was, let's make America great again. Let's bring those jobs back from overseas. Let's make our trade deals fair. And the whole psychology of the country has changed. We've got a 3.9% unemployment rate, with the lowest unemployment rate in decades in both black and Hispanics. We have parts of the country that have unemployment at 2%, and there is opportunity abounding everywhere. When the psychology is positive, a rise in energy prices is not as detrimental when the psychology is negative.
The only thing I would throw in the fray, Dan, is that for a person like myself, which has diesel outfits, and there was a clamor 9 and 10 years ago to everybody buy diesel. Now diesel right here is over $3.50 a gallon. It's making it detrimental to go anywhere. And really, as a byproduct, diesel from gasoline, it should not be that high. And a lot of people like myself are using the terminology rip-off. How would you respond to that?
Well, I think that what we have is we have a long history of no energy policy in this country. We built diesels because at the time of the embargo with Jimmy Carter, diesel was cheaper than gasoline, and so you put a diesel in your car or a diesel truck or whatever, your cost of energy went down. But as the market forces changed, diesel prices went up. Diesel cars went up in terms of price. And so if you don't have an energy policy, what are you going to do longer term? What is the role of natural gas? What is the role of electricity in automobiles? What is the role of hydrogen in automobiles and trucks and everything else? We don't have a cohesive policy that allows us to have a plan of how we're going to deal with it. Now, what's the most important thing here, Zeb, is that we will be we are energy independent, which means we are no longer beholden to any nation who can use energy as a weapon against us and our economy and what we believe. Mm-hmm. Now, just to put that in perspective for you, Zeb, there's one country in this, more than one, but one major country in this world that is exactly the same position in terms of energy dependency as we were in the 70s with Jimmy Carter, and that's China. China has to import 65% of its energy needs. They don't have the ability to produce it. And that's created a tremendous opportunity for our American energy companies, which means more and more people getting jobs, good-paying jobs, going to work, generating more money in their pocket to help them deal with a little higher price. I would say to you, I fully expect by the end of the summer, crude oil, which is around 67 now, was up to the 71, 72 last week. I expect it to see around $85 a barrel.
Really?
So gas prices are not going to come down.
Well, I want to switch gears in the time remaining, Dan, and with your expertise on politics and world happenings, give us a quick update as to what you think may or may not happen with North Korea on the possible summit.
It's a great question. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Bottom line is that the Kim family, Rocket Man and his father before that, their strategy when dealing with the United States is agree and then abandon. Agree, then abandon. Agree and not do anything. So their strategy, they schedule a meeting, but they cancel at the last moment. So that they always kept us off guard. And we were always reacting to them. That has been their strategy from the very beginning. What happened last week was when the North Koreans attacked the Vice President of the United States. Understand that if you've learned anything about Donald Trump, he expects blinding loyalty to what he's trying to do. And Mr. Pence has been an extremely loyal, supportive person. And Donald Trump is, if you're loyal to me, I will protect you with everything I have. So when the North Koreans went after Pence, what Trump said is, then I'm not having the meeting. And it blew him away because all of a sudden Trump was using their tactics against them. And look how quickly, after he said, no, the meeting's off, were the North Koreans scrambling to try and figure out how we put the meeting in place. So I think he's got the right strategy. He's doing the right thing. And I think if Kim walks away, then the rest of the world is going to be very, very upset with what he's doing. And I think that that's what the Chinese told him when he went to China to meet with the premier. Don't screw this up. This is a great opportunity. And I think they just were caught off guard by the way Trump reacted. It's not, he was playing out of their playbook instead of them playing out of theirs. And that just surprised them no end. They didn't know what to do.
According to the statements you just made, it surprised them no end. They didn't know what to do. I think you could also entail our media into that statement. The media was critical of Trump, and they said that he had jinxed the summit from the get-go. Now it's coming around that it might happen again, and our leftist media, I think, doesn't know how to handle this situation. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I agree. I say to people, look, if you go back in time when the North Koreans said they might be interested in talking to Mr. Trump, one of the first things that Mr. Trump said, I'm not going to make a bad deal, and if I go there and they're trying to manipulate us, I'll walk away. I'll walk away from this opportunity because it won't be a real opportunity for America and the rest of the world. And that's what he did last Friday. He walked away, and that surprised him. And I just think that I'm hopeful that there will be a meeting and that there will be a solution. But the media doesn't understand. They're not listening to what the president is saying. They have their own bias. I say, Zeb, I tell everybody that I can, if you haven't read Mr. Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, then you need to go read it because it'll help you understand how he negotiates and what he does and what he's done through his career. It's a great insight of his tactics. It's also a great insight to the man's incredible work ethic and his commitment to people who support him and things he believes in. So your listeners need to get the book and read it. Or listen to it on audio. It's fine. But I just think that a neighbor friend of mine came over to see me this morning, and he was asking me about some current events. And he said, he's from Austria. He said, a lot of American media criticized Donald Trump and continues to criticize Donald Trump as not being very presidential. And what he said to me this morning is, Trump is creating a new presidential.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Dan, I have a caller with a question. I've got 60 seconds left. Caller, very fast. Please go ahead.
Well, I was just going to agree with what he just said. I think Mr. Trump has been planning on running for president forever, and I think that he had so calculated this thing out that that he's so far ahead of these people. And when I hear him make fun of him, saying that all he does is watch TV and drink Diet Cokes and lay around, the work ethic of this man, he sleeps 4 hours a night. The things that he's accomplished that they will not cover, the mainstream media, and how they talk about how he is dumb, and it's truly laughable. But it scares me that there's people out there that might believe what they have said, the mainstream media. I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller, if you would, Dan, please.
Absolutely. It is they're so biased. 93% continue to report on a negative. They don't want to talk about anything positive. But the question really becomes, Zeb, what happens if, I got a cough, excuse me, and a frog in my throat there. So what happens is, if this comes off on June the 12th, and if over the next 6 to 12 months, there is in fact a real peace agreement, and they begin to denuclearize their weapons, he will get the Nobel Peace Prize. And how will the mainstream media react for a president of the United States bringing the 60-year conflict on the Korean Peninsula and taking away nuclear weapons on both the North and South? How will they react to if the Nobel Committee gives him the Peace Prize?
Wow. It's interesting to say the least. Dan Perkins, I am out of time, but I want to say this. I'm going to do all I can to help support you. I absolutely want you to come back on the program. You're a valued guest, political analyst, and author. Dan Perkins, God bless you, my friend, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Zeb. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a lot of respect for that man. Very straightforward. Dan Perkins from Florida, and thank you very much. We are going to send this back over to our main studios for a few minutes, and then the always smiling and effervescent George Mass will be in the studio with us, and we're looking forward to having him on the air, talking about the 4th annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride coming up in just a matter of days, as a matter of fact. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, welcome back to our last half hour. And an old friend, emphasis on the word old, is in the studio right now. George Mass, how are you? Good to see you.
Good morning, sir. You're not that far behind me, so be careful on that word.
Well, yeah, but I don't plan on catching up to you either.
All right.
So, okay. You've been busy this summer or this spring so far?
Yeah, it's yes and no. I'm putting together this Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride.
Yeah.
I've got some hellacious supporters.
Really?
And so my job's easy.
Really?
Yeah, all I got to do is make a comment, and I've got the city, Rupert, combat veterans, Rupert Police Department, everybody jumping aboard 110%.
Well, you're kind of like a movie director. I want you over here, and you take care of this, that type of thing.
I think, Zeb, when you do something that's good for the community and for the people, everybody wants aboard.
Oh, I agree.
Where you're not padding your pockets or patting yourself on the back. So it's.
Before we get into the Roll Call Memorial Ride, I understand that you're going to jump on a big boat here pretty quick.
Yep, my grandson and Adam are going on a Alaskan cruise, taking inside passage. The wife don't like boats, so she gets to stay home.
Well, she's a smart lady. I don't like them either.
Well, we're going to go deep sea fishing and take the train into Skagway and helicopter ride up on the glaciers.
Goodness sakes, you're going to Alaska.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about that Alaskan cruise, but are you gonna take your own fishing equipment, or are you gonna rent it up there, or what?
No, the charter boat, they got everything you need. So and they furnish you smoked fish and coffee and beer, hot chocolate. So.
What did you say, beer and hot chocolate and everything?
Yeah, but you got my grandson, I got to stay on hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate, yeah. Now, on a trip like this, the cruise takes you to various points and drops you off, right?
Yeah, we go straight into the Ford glaciers, then back to Juneau. We'll spend about 13 hours there, and we're going to take a helicopter ride on the glaciers.
Really?
Up on the glaciers. And then to Juneau, which we will... Skagway would take the train right into the Yukon.
I see.
Juneau would take a helicopter ride, 4-hour ride up on the glaciers. And then down to Ketchikan, we're going to take 4-hour deep sea fishing.
Now, in order to get back on the cruise, I'm a little naive on this. I mean, to get back on the cruise, do you have to make these trips within a certain time frame, or what?
They do not wait. They've left people waving on the dock.
Yeah, I felt we were on one cruise down to the Gulf of Mexico and down through there, and when they say you better be back, you'd better be back.
Yeah, the only bad thing about that, they claim you gain between 5 and 10 pounds, and I can't afford that.
I know you can't. But now the fishing, you're not, you'll rent the equipment or use somebody else's equipment and everything?
Yeah, everything's furnished, and then they'll take care of your fish and deep freeze it and send it home. Or fast freeze it, send it home.
This is going to be quite a trip. How many days is that?
We'll be gone 8 days.
8 days.
Yeah.
So you fly into what, Seattle?
Into Seattle.
Yeah, and then get on the boat up there.
Yes.
Or the ship, I should say.
Yeah, it's a big boat.
Big ship. And then they'll come back to Seattle, is that right?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, don't fall overboard.
Fat boys float, don't they?
What do you got coming up with the 4th annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride?
Yes. Very proud to be part of this. We pay tribute to all fallen soldiers in Idaho. We've got a program. This is our 4th annual year. The combat veterans will be coming in on their bikes.
Okay, are they going to really rev them up a little bit?
They are. J.R. Strunk, God bless him, he's a savior. He really is.
Now, when you say they're coming in on this memorial ride, I mean, what's the starting point, the focal point? How's this all going to lay out?
They're going to leave Let's Ride at 9:30 in the morning. And they're going to do a ride, and they'll come back into Rupert about 12:30.
I see.
All the riders will pay $15 fee to ride. $5 of that will purchase their meal.
I see.
The $10 that the profit that we get out of that goes to buying U.S. Constitution books for all schools.
Oh.
All schools. And many Acacia seniors, they took the books home, and hopefully the parents or somebody pick them up and read them.
Now, let me ask you this. It's open to anyone with a motorcycle, right?
Yes.
Anybody?
Anybody. It's open to the public.
Okay.
The program, everything is open to the public, and we encourage you to come. And Pastor Travis Turner is going to do our invocation dedication, and he is really promoting this to his youth in his church, and that's what we need. You and I is not going to save the world; it's our youth.
Absolutely.
And we're really striving to get the young people in there.
Right.
Alita Stringham usually does my taps, and she had a graduation and had to back out. I stopped at Minico and got a hold of Trevor Schultz, a sophomore, and he jumped with glory to do that.
He's going to do the bugle.
He's going to do the bugle.
Oh, wow. So the riders for the 4th annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride are going to meet at Let's Ride at 9:30. They're going to leave, right?
Kickstands up at 9:30.
And that means one bum and away they go.
Away they go.
Okay. Now, they're going to have a ride, and then they come back to where?
They'll come back to Let's Ride, then they'll put the flags on their bikes, and then come on into Rupert.
Okay, so then they get the flags on the bike, and I'm assuming that almost all are going to be what? Red, white, and blue American flags?
A lot of them will have, just about all of them have flags. We've got Brent I can't remember his last name now, will be, he's got a tricycle, and he'll have really decked out with flags.
Oh, my.
And escort him in.
Okay.
Rupert Police Department will escort him in.
Okay, and they go to 7th and Scott Street, is that right?
Yes.
And that's where you have the monument.
We've got the monument there.
Okay. Now, that monument, you were probably the number one man responsible for helping get that put up in the first place, weren't you?
Yes, Zeb. When we lost Chris Workman, and I hate to say it's just about him, but I went to Boise and had the pleasure of escorting him back to Rupert.
Right.
People was lying down the street by the thousands.
Wow.
After the funeral, 2 weeks later, life's back to normal.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought, we need to put something out there to where maybe you drive by and see that, it might get a flashback, why we've got our freedom.
Now, you put this monument up not without some commentary and some dissension by other people that didn't want the flag at half-staff, did they?
No, they did not. And former Senator Dean Cameron told me, don't worry about it. He passed the bill, or got a bill S-1155. Gary Shoresman, Damon Rodriguez, myself, and my grandson Adam Fowler went to Boise. We testified for the Senate and the Congress.
Right. Got
the bill passed, and so we fly our flag at half-staff 24/7. There's 2 places in the United States that does that. Comfort, Texas, and Rupert, Idaho.
And basically the memorial is for the honoring of our soldiers and those that never came home, right?
Yes, those that was killed in action that never made it home.
Now, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen when they get to the location at 7th and Scott Street, and you're going to have a program at 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
Okay.
You come in, KMVT said they will cover it. City of Rupert paid Cat Country. They're going to do a live broadcast for those that cannot make it in. And anyway, they'll have a concession stand with hamburger and chips and water.
Okay.
Senator Kelly Anthony, Idaho State Senator Kelly Anthony will do the
No,
work.
there's a good guy.
Oh, boy. He's backs me 110%.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to say this for Kelly. People that criticize politicians and put them all lumped together in a snowball, that's wrong, because Kelly Anthon and our representatives from this area are absolutely first class.
They are, and I really don't classify them as politicians. They're my servants.
They're concerned for people.
And they serve Idaho and their constituents.
And Kelly's done a whale of a job.
He does. He's got bless his heart, he's got so many irons in the fire that trying to get in and talk to him is really hard.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, but he keeps them all hot.
Oh, boy, he keeps it moving. And also this Friday is their anniversary.
Really?
Yeah.
Kelly and his wife?
Yep.
Well, congratulations. Okay, but tell us a little bit about the program. What do you hope to accomplish with the program?
Awareness.
Okay.
Just awareness. And to raise some money. We've got the Idaho roll call. We've got the POW monument. We've got the Avenue of Flags that we have to take care of. And then any funds we got left over, we help senior citizens. We give some to the Wilson Theater to keep that up afloat. And money goes to the community.
Okay.
100% of it goes back to the community.
George, you've done so much with these different projects like this Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride, etc. Who's going to carry the torch when you and I can't get out of the old rocking chair?
Well, Adam Fowler said he's going to, and if he's determined to do it, don't get in his way, because he's going to get her done.
Absolutely. But, there needs to be a lot more.
There is. And that's why, this year I got hold of this little Dennis Arrington. He's second grader, I think, at the Catholic school. I'm going to have him carry the flag over to J.R. Wardle,
okay.
R.J. Wardle, and hoist the flag. It's a young youth. I've got to train him how to do it properly, but we've got to get our youth involved.
Well, that's true in any circumstance here in this country, and they're hearing so much negativity and so much that's anti-American, anti-Constitution, anti-values. Boy, I know you've done all you can to turn it around.
Yeah, we're working on it, and my dying breath's going to be to get our youth involved.
Absolutely.
And what's really sad, Zeb, The kids wants to get involved. It's the parents won't get off their deadbeat backside and take them there or get involved.
Absolutely. Who are some of the sponsors that maybe you want to thank for helping you on this?
One of them that come aboard, and I was really pleased with that, was the Burley Inn. Any travelers coming from outside that's into this event, they'll give them a room at a big discount.
I see.
We have the City of Rupert. Lord.
You've done a lot with them.
I have. They're easy to work with. It's not about fees and money and what have you. If it's something to benefit the community, not just the City of Rupert, but the community, they're aboard 100%.
Okay.
Rupert Police Department.
They're a good bunch of guys and ladies.
Yes, they've been with me for 11 years now on all my projects.
Wow.
And so has the City of Rupert. Combat veterans, they've been with me for 11 years, and I'll tell you what, they're astronomical on what they do.
Now, is that where, and I know it is, J.R. Strunk falls in?
Yes, he is the road captain.
What do you mean by road captain? What does that mean?
He's the boss.
Ah, he's the ramrod.
Yeah, and he packs a big stick. He's very patriotic. And the combat veterans, their motto is veterans helping veterans, but they'll help veterans that can help other people.
I see.
They're a wonderful group.
Do you have other events like this? I mean, do you know of other events like this across the United States?
Not to my knowledge.
So you're really doing something innovative right here.
I don't know if it's innovative, but it's what I thought should be happening.
No, I know that, but I mean, you're doing something that's not only patriotic, but it's innovative. It's bringing light and casting a light on our veterans and what this great red, white, and blue stands for.
Yes, that's true. And also, Zeb, the Connection Credit Union is a big sponsor, and of course, Rupert Veterans Memorial Incorporated.
I have to have you to speak up just a little bit, George. We have a call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, George.
Good morning.
I really appreciate you doing that bike ride at the monument. This will be the first year that I've missed it. But us veterans are kind of busy right now. We've got 5 funerals in front of us, and we've done one today. And I have to let that take my priority. I wouldn't miss it for nothing but for that reason.
We've got our priorities, Jerry. We've got to take care of our veterans, other military rights by all means, and we've also got family. But this falls in behind them.
Well, I understand, and I do appreciate you doing that, and I plan on attending that. But boy, it's just not going to work out that way. We've got 3 funerals Friday, and 2 of them are at the same time. You're right, is we've got one Saturday, and then we've got another Monday. And we had one this morning that 6 veterans were putting, to rest with military rights, and I have kind of made that a priority.
All right, well, Jerry, Jerry, I thank you for your call. I've got J.R. Strunk on the other line that needs to get in here real quick. Thank you. God bless you, my friend. Thank you.
Jerry.
On the phone with us right now is a man that has been in my studio many, many times, and he is the captain of the ride, and that's J.R. Strunk. Good morning, J.R. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing pretty good. Only thing I'll have to correct that. He's getting old, he forgets, but it's not captain, it's CO. I'm the commanding officer of.
All right, you are the CO, and I'll remember that. JR, from your viewpoint, when they say let's ride at 9:30 over at Let's Ride, tell us a little bit about that excursionary ride you're going to have to take you to 7th and Scott at 1 p.m. What's happening there?
We're going to take a little putt around the valley. I've got a man that Steve Otley's his name. He's my road captain, and he's got a route set up. It's about a 65 mile route, and with the break in the middle, we're going to make a little putt around and look at the valley for most people that knows that, in case they don't. And then we'll come into town, and like George says, we're going to stop and have Fred Thompson with his Harley trike. We'll flag him up, put him in the very front like we did in the past, and we'll go into town and loud and proud.
JR, I've only got a couple of minutes left, and I want you to respond to this. What does the Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride mean specifically to you?
Well, it's just like Memorial Day. It's actually an honor to honor those that could come home.
Absolutely. And I know your patriotism. You've been involved in different programs right here in my studio many, many times. And I thank you, JR, for calling in this morning. And I certainly wish you the best on Saturday. Thank you for being a part of it. And are you really going to crank those engines up for me again this year?
Yeah, we'll do it. We always like to do that for you if you're around. And I'll tell you something else too, my friend. We're going to have our car show this year over in Rupert again in September. You come over. I'm going to have a dozen or so race cars with no mufflers. So.
Oh boy,
you can.
I'll be there. And JR, God bless you, man. And I hope all goes well on this Saturday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeb. Thanks for your support, buddy.
You're very welcome. There's a nice man, George, a good friend.
It is. All you got to do is call him on the phone, and he says, what do you want?
All right. Now, give us a quick recap before I have to leave and get a weather forecast in here real fast.
Okay. On June 2nd at 7th and Scott Street, we're going to have our 4th annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride. The riders meets at Let's Ride. Kickstand's up at 9:30.
And that means 9:30.
That means 9:30. And the public is welcome.
Good. Anybody that has a bike can ride.
Yes, and also the program is open to the public.
Absolutely.
There will be road barriers up on the road. The people that's going to the show go past those, and they can park close to
okay.
That's reserved parking for us.
All right.
We're going to have an outside privy this year. We haven't had before. And
that's always very important.
They just about strung me up last year. But we'll have food. It's to help the community, pay tribute to our fallen ones that give us what we got today.
Absolutely.
And I've got to apologize to the people for this year on Memorial Day. We did not put our flags out at the Rupert Cemetery on account of the weather.
I see.
It's disheartening. We couldn't do it, but it would have destroyed their flags.
George, real quick, are there numbers that the public can call and find out more information?
Yes, they can call JR at 670-1728, or they can call me at 650-0104.
All right, that is the 4th Annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride coming up this Saturday, June 2nd, with the ultimate and final destination, of course, with the program at 7th and Scott Street in Rupert.
Yes, it's going to be a nice program. We got a couple politicians speaking, but they're not politicians. The mayor will be reading a proclamation, and it's a good event.
Oh, it'll be a lot of fun and very, very worthwhile. Thank you, George.
It is. Thank you, Zed.
All right, we're going to get a weather forecast on here right now, and the weather brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew, of course, at 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call and find out more about their delicious meats, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. All the marinated prime ribs. George said he's going to buy me one, along with smoked hams and all the breakfast bacons and the buckboard bacon and the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst. Oh, the list goes on. Absolutely delicious meats from Scarrow's Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be decent for this morning, but as we make our way to the afternoon, not so much. Here's your weather forecast for us up at the ranch. We are looking at partly sunny skies for today, but as we move into the afternoon hours, we are expecting some storms that could be severe with large hail, damaging winds, and rain as well. Expecting a high of 78 tonight. Those storms could continue mostly before midnight, expecting a low of 52. For tomorrow, we do have a 60% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon hours, and partly sunny skies with a high of 72, overnight low of 46, and then by Friday, 20% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies with a high of 70, sunny and 80 for Saturday. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much, and right now, again, I want to remind you that Don Scarrow and his crew serving you with the best of meats. Absolutely, at Scarrow's Meats. Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Tomorrow on the program, don't forget, we've got a new segment. It's the Old Fishing Hole. It's going to be at 10:30 tomorrow morning with Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse. And, boy, he's going to be actually fishing while we're talking to him over at Lake Walcott. So it's going to be really interesting. Brought to you by the best of the Sportsman's store, and that's Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Our thanks go out to our major sponsor, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of tires, the best of brake service, the best of front-end alignments, the best of course, batteries. It's all there, shocks and struts. And right now, if you're getting ready for a road trip, drive safely with the best of tires, all the different tread designs for your cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, anything you need tires for, you stop in and check it out today at any one of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The great people like Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. None better. That's not brag, that's a fact. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Tomorrow on the program, also along with the Old Fishing Hole, we've got your Cassia Regional segment introducing and featuring some of the nice, great people at Cassia Regional Hospital. And then don't forget, we're going to have Rita on the phone, and we've got all kinds of things tomorrow morning. We'll kick things off at 8:06 and ride the horse for 3 hours right here on Zebeth Ranch, K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And remember, we always end the program and the way things were, the way things ought to be. We'll see you tomorrow morning.